From WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
We continue to track some light rain as we head through the rest of this afternoon. We're going to go over where this is headed and our weather alert day now issued for Sunday coming up.
And flooded hallways. This is Duke University Hospital's emergency department after a water pipe burst. How they are making sure patients are getting the care they need.
Plus, armed and dangerous. Fayetteville Police Department search for this man they say is still on the run after murdering a DoorDash driver.
Right now at noon, we are watching the radar. Some spotty showers are moving across our viewing area. It looks like we are in for a lot more as we head towards our weekend, though. And I want to thank you for joining us on this Friday at noon. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Grace Hava. We will likely see a lot more rain come Sunday. It's why we've gone ahead and issued a WRAL weather alert day. We could see gusty winds up to 45 miles an hour. Let's check in with meteorologist Anthony Baglione in the Severe Weather Center. Anthony, that rain is also bringing some warmer temps along with it.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of an interesting weather setup for us this weekend. We're going to see high temperatures getting close to, if not at 70, both on Saturday and Sunday. I want to start us off, though, with where we sit right now, and then we're going to go into this weekend, talk about Sunday here specifically in just a second. We get us outside, though. You've certainly seen, I'm sure, the light sprinkles coming down, some very light showers. That's going to continue with us through the rest of this afternoon. We hang on to the cloud cover, and I've actually dropped our temperatures a little bit here for our highs into the mid to upper 40s this afternoon. Where we sit right now, though, around Fayetteville, up towards Smithfield, even around the Triangle, pretty few and far between as far as the coverage is concerned, but it's going to be very, very light and continue through the rest of today. There is Futurecast, though, the latest run for us. We continue to show that coverage. The cloud cover's with us. Afternoon plans, dinner plans. You may want to have the umbrella with you just in case. It's not going to be a lot of rain as far as amounts are concerned, but more so making it feel like a good nap day inside. 8 o'clock this evening, we can still see just a light area or two, but then this all starts to wind down as we get into tonight. Tomorrow is going to be very similar as far as the amount that we're seeing or lack thereof, but Sunday it looks like the rain is going to be more widespread, I would say. We're going to see better coverage, likely starting, let's say, late morning. We'll call it basically all day long. We're seeing the rain. The severe threat would be closer to about 3 to 9 p.m. Gusty winds up to about 45 miles an hour are likely, I would say. If you have holiday decorations that are still outside, make sure to secure those here the next couple days. Here is the severe risk, though, for us. Level 2 outlined for all of central North Carolina. We're going to walk through this much more in detail here coming up in just a few minutes.
Make sure to download the WRAL News app. You can get up-to-the-minute alerts and follow along with live interactive radar to see when the storms and rain are heading toward you. It's free to download on Apple and Google Play stores.
Right here's what the halls inside Duke University Hospital in Durham look like right now. This is a picture that was sent to us by a WRAL viewer. Parts of it flooded after a water pipe inside a wall burst. It forced many patients and hospital staff to evacuate. And WRAL's Liz McLaughlin is live outside the hospital right now. Liz, how are these patients getting the treatment that they need?
This is an ongoing challenge, Jeff. You can see Duke University Hospital here behind me. It was the emergency department, though, here on Irwin Road where the flooding occurred overnight. Walk-in patients still being treated in unaffected parts of the building while ambulances are being diverted to nearby facilities. This photo from a viewer shows the aftermath inside the emergency department. You can see water pouring from the ceiling, flooding in the floor. Some medical equipment was damaged, and busy scene outside of the hospital as staff really worked to transport patients to other areas. And again, those ambulances are lined up just as they're coordinating care and really diverting to other facilities. That includes UNC hospitals, Duke Regional, and Wake Med. Officials say that the repairs are underway right now, and they're hoping to get operations back to normal. In the meantime, though, Durham County EMS said that there could be delays in transport and wait times in emergency rooms across the region. Live in Durham, I'm Liz McLaughlin, WRAL.
Fayetteville police are looking for this man. They say Kevin Holland should be considered armed and dangerous. Holland's accused of murdering a DoorDash driver, 25-year-old Samori Husamuddin. Now, this all happened just before 8 o'clock last night at the McDonald's on Santa Fe Drive. WRAL's Destiny Patterson has been looking into this. Destiny, what else are we learning about the victim?
Well, a family member tells me that the victim in this case, Samori Husamuddin, he had children, and he also was a family man, part of a very large family with 6 different siblings. I also talked to Fayetteville police just in the last hour, and they tell me that this stemmed from a confrontation that happened during a DoorDash pickup at this McDonald's here. But they say that they're still working to determine what the nature of that confrontation was. Now, I want to give you a look at what this scene looked like just last night. This is where police say that McDonald's employee Kevin Holland shot DoorDash driver Samori Husamuddin to death. Husamuddin was 25 years old. Police are still actively looking for Holland because they say he ran away after that shooting. They plan to charge him with first-degree murder. Now, if you see him or if you have any information, you're asked to reach out to police. As you guys mentioned, Holland is considered armed and dangerous. Destiny Patterson, WRAL News, live in Fayetteville.
A procession is happening today for the Greensboro police officer shot and killed inside a Food Lion Monday. The body of Officer Michael Horan will be escorted to Greensboro from Raleigh. The escort will start at 4:30 this afternoon. Several federal, state, and local agencies will be on overpasses all along I-40. The escort will end at a funeral home in Greensboro. The man charged with killing Officer Horan made his first court appearance yesterday. Terrell McMillan was in court via video here, and he is charged with first-degree murder in this case. A convicted murderer turned himself in after being on the run for almost 2 weeks. This is 47-year-old Latago Marshall. 2 weeks ago, he was in court for a first-degree murder trial. He took a lunch break and never returned. That following Monday, the jury handed down a guilty verdict, and police say Marshall turned himself in to authorities yesterday in Burlington. He is now in the Alamance County Detention Center without bond.
A man Garner police say took officers on a high-speed chase is still on the run. 25-year-old Devon Whittle is wanted out of New York for kidnapping. This is video of the car Whittle rolled over just outside Buffalo Lanes. Garner police tried to stop him for expired tags. They say at first Whittle pulled over, then he hit the gas and drove at 90 miles an hour until he rolled that car. He then ran away into a neighborhood. Whittle has previous charges in New York and a conviction for reckless endangerment. If you see him, call 911. And police are searching for this man, Kellen Cuttenance. He's wanted for threatening mass violence on school grounds in Durham. In light of the school shooting in Madison, Wisconsin just last week, many people living nearby are understandably alarmed. One local elementary school teacher tells WRAL any threat made on school property, follow through or not, is extremely disruptive to learning.
Your safety has to come first. It's in your hierarchy of needs. You have to feel safe in order to be able to do what you want to do in a school, which is to build them up to being responsible humans and caring individuals and critical thinkers.
We have reached out to both Durham Police and Durham Public Schools to learn what exactly that threat entailed and which school property in Durham it was made in reference to. Durham Police are actively looking for Cuttenance. Anyone with information about where he might be is asked to contact Crime Stoppers.
38 people are dead after a passenger plane carrying 67 people crashed in Kazakhstan. While the cause is under investigation, there are new questions about what really happened, including the possibility the plane was hit by a Russian airstrike. NBC's Steve Patterson has the story.
This morning, new clues about what may have brought down this Azerbaijan passenger jet in a fiery crash, killing 38 people on board. New footage shows holes in the jet's fuselage and what experts say appears to be shrapnel damage, evidence the plane may have been downed by Russian forces, according to a growing number of government officials and aviation experts. A theory conflicting with the Kremlin's narrative that a bird strike caused the crash. The Azerbaijan Air passenger jet with 62 passengers and 5 crew on board had taken off from Baku, Azerbaijan early Christmas Day, heading to the Chechen capital of Grozny in southern Russia, an area where U.S. officials say Moscow has used air defensive systems against Ukrainian drone strikes in recent months. Russian officials say bad weather diverted the aircraft across the Caspian Sea. They say the plane experienced a failure in its control systems and an oxygen tank had exploded in the cabin, causing passengers to lose consciousness. This video from inside the plane in the air shows people calm, even after oxygen masks dropped. Then the plane suddenly lost altitude before crashing in a fireball in a Kazakhstan field. Some of the injured airlifted to Baku overnight. Now, as the people of Azerbaijan mourn the loss of the fallen, a U.S. official tells NBC News there are early indications the plane may have been hit by a Russian anti-aircraft system. Aviation expert Matthew Borey reviewed the footage and agrees.
The likely cause of the event is a misidentification and damage sustained from that.
This comes after a Dutch court recently concluded that a Malaysian Airlines flight was brought down in 2014 over Ukraine by a missile fired by pro-Russian fighters. Ukrainian officials immediately blaming Russia for this crash, too. The Kremlin responding, it would be incorrect to make any hypothesis before the investigation comes to conclusions.
That was Steve Patterson reporting. Let's take a look at stocks this noon. It's a shortened week with the holiday. There were some gains earlier this week, but those are pretty much drying up right now. As you see, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is headed well in negative territory and has lost more than 500 points so far. NASDAQ is also down 442 points. Big tech sell-off there, and S&P 500 is down almost 100 points this noon. Then we have next at noon, will he stay or will he go? As the new Congress is about to be seated, the growing debate over whether Speaker Mike Johnson will keep his job.
Also, bird flu mutation, the human diagnosis, raising concerns over more cases of the virus in people.
Plus, breaking bad bedtime TV habits. At 12:30, the effect leaving that TV on is having on your overall health.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.
Prosecutors say the man accused of setting a woman on fire on a New York subway has been indicted. 33-year-old Sebastian Zapata is charged with 2 counts of murder and 1 count of arson. Police say he approached a woman on a subway train who might have been sleeping and lit her clothes on fire with a lighter. Authorities believe it was a random attack. Zapata's indictment will remain under seal until he is arraigned on the new charges, which will likely be in a few weeks. And a judge has denied rapper Jay-Z's lawyer's request to identify the rape accuser in a sexual assault lawsuit. Jay-Z has denied the claims from the accuser. She alleges she was 13 years old when the rapper and Sean Diddy Combs raped her during a VMA's after party in 2000. Both Carter and Combs have denied the woman's allegations. The judge's Thursday ruling allows the woman to now proceed anonymously in this case. However, the judge says she will revisit that decision as the case progresses. A person diagnosed with the bird flu in Louisiana likely had that virus mutate while they were in the hospital. The CDC says the mutation means the H5N1 virus could potentially become more transmissible in humans, but there's still no evidence that the strain has actually been passed to anyone else from this person who got sick. The CDC says the patient was infected from sick and dead birds in a backyard flock. Samples taken in the hospital identified mutations that were not found in the wild birds.
We're a week away from the start of the new Congress and when House will need a vote on a new speaker. If that's the case, this afternoon there is growing debate over whether the current speaker will keep his job. Let's take a live look right now at the Capitol building there. Madeline Rivera shows us if lawmakers can't come to a consensus, it could delay Congress's certification of the election.
In 2023, it took Republicans 5 days and 15 rounds of voting to select a speaker. And next Friday, the House will have just 3 days before Congress is supposed to gather and certify the electoral votes. It's quiet on Capitol Hill this week, but 1 week from today, a battle could be brewing. That's when the new Congress convenes on January 3rd as mandated by the U.S. Constitution. And its first order of business, voting on a House Speaker.
Again, we reconvene on January 3rd. We obviously have a lot of important things to do in January, but we do need to consider whether, if we're going to advance Mr. Trump's agenda, whether the current leadership is what we need.
As questions swirl as to whether the current Speaker, Mike Johnson, can keep his job, questions are also being raised as to whether Congress will be able to certify the electoral votes by January 6 and formally make Donald Trump president. Without a speaker, there is no one with the procedural power to start the counting. And without a speaker, those recently elected lawmakers can't be sworn in.
So to have a speaker's battle, all that does is a distraction and delays getting the American First policy through. The promise made is that it should be the promise kept, and the House has to do their part. They cannot do the part without a speaker.
Some Republicans want President-elect Donald Trump to formally endorse Johnson, while for his part, Speaker Johnson is expressing confidence the GOP will be unified come next week.
I think we'll have a smooth transition, a smooth election to Speaker, because we don't have any time to waste.
That was Madeline Rivera reporting. House Republicans start the new Congress with 219 votes. Johnson will need 218 to keep his job.
A person was arrested after sneaking onto a flight to Hawaii without a ticket. It happened at the Seattle-Tacoma airport on Christmas Eve. The Delta flight was bound for Honolulu. The stowaway was able to get through a checkpoint and slip past an ID check to board that plane. A former pilot says it was a combination of mistakes that allowed it to happen.
Well, there's never just one cause. So there are multiple causes that come into this, and they probably involve not only a bit of lackadaisical inattention, it may be training, it may be compliance, but it's probably all of that.
The stowaway was found while the plane was taxiing. They were arrested after the plane returned to the gate.
Yeah, just about a 2-hour delay for all those people, though. Big problems. Anthony Baglione over in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Not big problems weather-wise, just typical December stuff here, but we're going to have an interesting weekend up and down with those temperatures.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch. We have 40s out there for us today, and then close to, if not at 70 on Saturday and Sunday. Then by the time we get into the first day of 2025, we see temps go back down into the 40s. So we're kind of doing the roller coaster here over the next week. We do, of course, though, have the rain out there this morning, and it's pretty light in coverage, or this afternoon, I should say. That's going to continue on here through the next couple of hours, but pretty few and far between as far as the extent of this is concerned. We have seen maybe 1/100 of an inch or so of rain, so not a lot as far as the amounts are concerned, but still we're going to track that here through the rest of today into this early evening. There is Futurecast, though. We time this out for you. We go through the afternoon. The cloud cover is going to be a given for us through the rest of today. That's going to help to keep our temperatures on the chilly side in the 40s. I took our highs down just a degree or two from 49 to about 47 or so. We continue on, though, with, again, those rain chances. There's a look at as we get closer to about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. If you are traveling still through this afternoon into this evening, notice it's not a lot of rainfall. The bulk of that would be up to our north and west right there, but just enough where it could affect travel and make for at least some damp conditions where you might need to run the windshield wipers. We turn our attention, though, to Sunday. We do still have this risk outline from the Storm Prediction Center. It's this big old level 2 out of 5 risk across a large chunk of North Carolina down into South Carolina, even into Georgia. So the extent is fairly wide at this point, but I do expect as we go through the next couple days, they'll probably fine tune that a little bit and kind of hone in exactly where that severe risk is going to be. Looking at the latest data, here's how everything shapes up at this point. 8 o'clock Sunday morning, we still have some relatively dry conditions for the majority of our viewing area. That changes, though, relatively quickly as that batch continues to push in. We go to lunchtime. We're likely talking rain at that point, and then through the afternoon into the evening, any plans are going to be affected by some rain coming down. Unlike today, where it's pretty light, I do think we're going to see a pretty decent coverage across the area with that coming down pretty heavily, I would say, on our Sunday. If you have anything outside that could blow around, that's also going to come with some gusty winds, about 35 to 45 mile per hour gusts, both on the majority of the morning on Sunday through the afternoon as well. 90% there for us on Sunday. It does go down. Monday, we're looking dry. New Year's Eve on Tuesday, we have about a 20% chance. I do think at midnight, though, we should be dry. That is not the case, though, by the way, for New York City. They are looking at a lot of rain, so it's going to be interesting to see how they handle that with the ball drop up there in New York. 68, though, for us on Saturday, upper upper 60s on Sunday. We keep those warm temperatures here through the early part of next week. This is the coolest day, I would say, out of the next 7. 46 is all we're going for this afternoon. 68 is where we're looking at, though, for New Year's Eve. A little bit cooler as we start to see a front come through on New Year's Day at 57, but travel for both of those days looking really good, unless if you are headed up into New England, closer to New York City. I do think the rain will be kind of focused in that part of the country. 68, though, for us tomorrow, 69 on Sunday. We head into the first part of 2025. There, guys, looking at temperatures in the upper 50s with more sunshine to start the year.
A lot of people this time of year are saying, oh, we want to bring back the heat, and this is their New Year's gift, I guess. 68 on New Year's Eve. Thank you, Anthony. Still to come during our evening news starting at 4 o'clock, this week's restaurant ratings focused on the local spots with perfect scores. See who's been scoring hundreds on their health inspections at 4 and 5.
And dozens of high-end cars stolen in the Triangle, linked to a multi-state theft ring. New warrants reveal some were stolen straight from homes. How you can protect yourself, that's tonight at 6. Plus, still ahead this noon, new online shopping. Next, a look at Amazon's newest edition and the discounts that come along with it.
And helping people with disabilities. The new bill some lawmakers are hoping to pass when it comes to accessibility in gyms.
Amazon is hoping to compete with popular online Chinese retailers like Temu and Shein with their online shop called Haul. The new mobile app, still in its beta form and operated separately from Amazon's main site, was quietly launched last month. It offers items at bargain prices like sneakers for $10, kitchenware for $6, phone cases for $3. Items are only $20 or under, and you can get free shipping on orders over $25. Congressional Democrats want to pass a new bill for Americans with disabilities to access better health in gym fitness locations. New rules for fitness facilities across the country would be mandated. They would include access to equipment, machines, fitness instruction, and at least one employee trained in disabilities fitness instruction that would be provided during all operation hours.
Well, how about heading into the new year with a little extra change in your pocket? Sounds pretty good, right? You have another shot at becoming a billionaire tonight. The Mega Millions jackpot is now over $1 billion. It's sitting at $1.15 billion. After no winner in Tuesday night's drawing, the cash payout is more than $516 million. Now remember, you can watch tonight's drawing right here on WRAL just before our 11 o'clock news. And meanwhile, some folks in Southern California are hoping that a lucky liquor store will help them get rich. The Bluebird Liquor Store has actually sold multiple winning Mega Millions and Powerball tickets, so people are obviously going there and hoping to be tonight's big winner.
It is the final weekend of 2024, and it is filled with family fun.
If you're scratching your brain trying to come up with something to do, we have a list to help you and your family stay busy. We're going to start it off with a list of some local Hanukkah events.
Yeah, Morrisville is into this. The lighting for their menorah will be tonight at 5 o'clock on Town Hall Drive. On Sunday, it's Apex that'll hold its annual Hanukkah celebration at the Apex Senior Center. That starts at 3:30 p.m. There'll be holiday crafts and food trucks there.
And on Monday, downtown Cary Park will hold its Festival of Light celebration starting at 5:30 p.m. There will be holiday music and activities for the kiddos. And if you're looking for something a little bit different, there are some holiday performances coming up. The Hip Hop Nutcracker Show is happening Saturday at the Durham Performing Arts Center. It's an all hip hop version of the Nutcracker. The show is reimagined with lots of great music and, of course, plenty of dancing. Tickets start at $40. And just a note for parents out there, children under the age of 6 are not allowed at that event.
And if you love Motown, there's a show in Cary you might want to check out. The Motown Sound of Christmas is happening tonight at Cary Arts Center. Town of Cary and Pure Life Theater Company are teaming up for this show. You can expect to hear some great music and holiday surprises as well. Tickets start at $20. For more information on these events and a look ahead to New Year's Eve, just go to WRAL.com and search the keyword Out and About. The Starbucks strike expands. Next, how many stores are now involved and what this means for your next coffee run?
Plus, prioritizing sleep. Still to come, health experts share tips on how you can get more and better rest at night. As we head to break, here's a look at your latest lottery numbers.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
We are watching the chance for rain as we head into our weekend. We've already issued a WRAL weather alert day for Sunday. Let's check in with meteorologist Anthony Baglione. Now, Anthony, what can we expect with this rainfall?
It looks like as we head into our Sunday, Grace, for the first part of the day, it's initially just going to be regular old rainfall. We have a 90% chance, though, for that rain. So it is definitely going to be more coverage, I would say, than what we're seeing out there for this afternoon. Then as we get closer to about 3 to 9 p.m. is when we're looking at that potential for a few storms that could be on the stronger side with some gusty winds. Otherwise, though, we get us outside here this afternoon. We do have some light rainfall across the area. Plan on that through the rest of today. If you are headed out, you may want to have that umbrella with you just in case, and we'll continue to track this here as we head into our weekend.
And Wake County is expanding and moving its warming shelters. The services at the Bryant Center program will move to 5010 2nd Street in Raleigh. The new location will be called the 2nd Street Drop-In Shelter. It's operated by St. John's Metropolitan Community Church. This new location will operate nightly from 7 p.m. until 7 a.m. Extended hours will be offered from 5 p.m. until 7 a.m. during White Flag nights.
Severe weather all around the country is affecting millions of people in America this week. This is what parts of the South and West are dealing with right now. There's heavy snow, tornado in some areas with damage, flooding. It's impacted holiday travel as well. Folks trying to get home or get to their destinations. Reed Binion explains.
Well, we heard about 3:30 last night a big bang.
Severe weather pounding parts of the West Coast with mountain snowfall, rain, and high winds.
We did have to do some cutting of branches in order to get my car out of the area.
Cleanup is underway across the Portland, Oregon area after a storm tore through on Thursday. High wind alerts were issued, and the National Weather Service warned of possible downed trees and power outages.
There were some scattered power outages throughout the county.
In Washington state, ice and heavy snow made for hazardous conditions on roadways. Authorities had to shut down parts of Interstate 90 multiple times because of spinouts and crashes. Meanwhile, in the South, severe storms prompted the National Weather Service to issue tornado watches across 2 states. By Thursday evening, more than 1 million people in parts of Louisiana and Texas were under tornado watches. The severe weather also impacted holiday travel, the FAA ordering ground stops at 2 Texas airports. According to flight tracking website FlightAware, upwards of 700 flights into, out of, or within the U.S. were canceled Thursday.
I'm Eric Miller in the WRAL Live Center. A former prison guard at the federal prison in Butner will be going to prison himself. This breaking in just the last couple of minutes from the U.S. Department of Justice. This goes back to a case from 2021. According to the DOJ, Daniel Mitchell, that former prison guard, conspired with another guard to beat an inmate there after that inmate apparently exposed himself to a female guard there. That beating so severe that it caused that inmate to have to call for medical attention. It aggravated a back issue that was pre-existing there. Now, this guard has not been sentenced just yet, but is looking at up to 10 years in prison.
Eric, thank you. If you are hitting the roads today, you can expect to see some more traffic. Many people are making their way home after the holidays or heading out to visit more family. AAA predicts that the best time to drive today is before 2 this afternoon. The worst and busiest drive times are expected to be between 3 and 7 p.m. And here's a look at what you can expect to pay at the pump. Gas Buddy releasing these new numbers this morning just after 3. The current average in North Carolina is $2.85. According to Gas Buddy, the current Raleigh average is $2.89, both still below the national average of $3.03.
The Israeli Attorney General has ordered an investigation into Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's wife. The investigation comes on suspicion of Netanyahu's wife harassing political opponents and witnesses in the Israeli leader's corruption trial. A recent report uncovered several WhatsApp messages where Sarah Netanyahu apparently instructed a former aide to organize protests against political opponents, as well as intimidate a key witness in that trial.
1 week since striking began, the movement against Starbucks has expanded to more than 300 stores in 45 states. Around 5,000 workers have walked out over better pay and working conditions. Striking began after contract negotiations failed last Friday. Workers say the coffee chain just isn't offering a serious economic proposal.
Starbucks is bringing proposals that are not worth having a conversation about. They suggested a 1% raise, which is pretty disgraceful, kind of a slap in the face, doesn't even meet inflation.
A Starbucks spokesperson, meanwhile, says the strike has had minimal effect, with 98% of stores still operating as planned. The company claims it was the workers' union that walked away from the bargaining table last week. Still to come, leaving a legacy. NC State's Kay Yao is still helping women battle cancer, her lasting service to the community.
Trapped in an avalanche. Next up, how one man's survival skills quickly kicked in to save his brother who was buried in the snow. You can watch WRAL News live anytime on WRAL.com or the WRAL app on your streaming device. Late great NC State women's basketball coach Kay Yao left a legacy that surpassed her victories on the court. Today, her fight with cancer continues to save lives. It was her heroic 22-year fight with breast cancer that inspired her players and fans. Players remember Yao taking the focus of her battle off of herself and encouraging others. The Kay Yao Cancer Fund awards grants to scientific research and programs to help underserved women so they can get access to quality cancer health care.
And what I'm really impressed about with the Kay Yao Cancer Fund is they deal with all cancers, not just breast cancers.
Yeah, through the foundation, $8.7 million will go to fight all cancers affecting women. The fund also awards grants for scientific research, and also the 2025 Celebration Run and Walk will be held Saturday, February 1st.
A man saved his brother's life on Christmas Eve after an avalanche trapped his sibling under the snow. Braden and Hunter Hansen were snowmobiling in the Franklin Basin of northeastern Utah. They were climbing up to higher ground in a canyon when the avalanche started and buried Hunter. Braden activated this beacon. The device helped show him where Hunter was. Hunter had been pushed about 150 yards from where he was just moments before.
I could see his hand, his gloves kind of poking out, waving. But by the time I got to him, he was about 2 feet. His head was about 2 feet under the snow, and just cleared the snow away from his head and got his helmet off so that he could start breathing again, and then just started digging his body out from there.
Thankful the story has a happy ending. Hunter only had minor injuries. He says he's grateful for his brother's quick thinking. An average of 27 people die in avalanches in the U.S. every year, according to the Colorado Avalanche Information Center.
Breaking some bad bedtime habits. Next up, the tips doctors recommend to get you to bed without having to watch TV.
Plus, a brand new addition. We'll tell you about this little cutie joining One Virginia Zoo.
This live look right now as we welcome you back this noon. Look at the fog hanging there. This is our tower camera right out back, that tall Christmas tree that you see when you drive on Western Boulevard right there on the edge of NC State's campus right now. This is pretty much the view we're going to get the rest of the day today.
That kind of weather really makes you want to nap. It definitely does. And getting good sleep is really important to our overall health. And while it's recommended that adults get at least 7 hours every night, turns out health officials say a lot of adults aren't getting enough sleep.
Yeah, right here. Count me in. If you leave the TV on as you try to drift off, that could be affecting your sleep quality. Mandy Gaither on how to break your bedtime TV habit.
When it's
it's time to turn in, do you reach out for the remote? If so, you're not alone.
People sleeping with the TV on is a very common thing.
Psychologist Shavonna Childs with Cleveland Clinic says there's no blue light filter on a TV like there is now on cell phones, and that can negatively impact your sleep.
The blue light kind of reminds us of the sun, so it disrupts our circadian rhythms.
Child says having the TV on affects REM sleep, the stage in which most dreams happen, and whatever you're watching can be intrusive into your dreams.
That's when we have that restless kind of sleep that we go into, and we may be sleeping, quote unquote, but we're waking up and we're not rested.
But you can break this bedtime habit. Child says to first practice good sleep hygiene, avoid caffeine and alcohol before bed, as well as afternoon naps. Try tea without caffeine to get you ready to turn in. Low lights can help, or reading a book. Any bedtime ritual that helps prepare your mind and body for sleep. Child says if you need background noise, try using a sleep mask to block the TV lights, or put a timer on it to automatically turn off after an hour or two. You can also turn on a radio, listen to a podcast, or find soothing sleep music. There are also apps that can lead you in meditation before bed.
You can train yourself to go to sleep without your TV.
For certain, try a fan. You know what? Just the noise, that droning noise of the fan works. That was Mandy Gaither reporting that.
Doctors say it's important for you to keep a consistent sleep routine, and that means waking up and going to bed at the same time every day. And yes, that includes on the weekends. All right, time for a little cuteness this morning. A Virginia zoo is celebrating this new holiday arrival of a baby hippopotamus. The baby pygmy hippo was born on December 9th at the Metro Richmond Zoo.
Made her debut on Christmas Eve, though so far doesn't have a name. This is the third calf in less than 5 years for her parents Iris and Corwin, their second calf to arrive just before the holidays. They got that timing down for that little bundle of joy.
So cute. You almost lose her in all that hay in there.
she won't stay that small for that long, right? Even as a pygmy. Over there in WRAL Severe Weather Center, Anthony Bagley on with another look at this radar as it passes through our area here. It's just been kind of steady and drizzly.
I tell you, the nap weather that you guys were mentioning a little bit ago, oh, it's so, what we're seeing out there right now. Very limited coverage as far as the rain, but where it's coming down, it's just kind of misty, a little bit of some drizzle, kind of the windshield wiper effect where you may need one swipe, give it a couple minutes, and then another one. It's not necessarily pouring here for many of us, but you can see across the central parts of our viewing area, that's about where we're seeing it currently, and that will continue through the rest of today. Here's Futurecast, though. So we leave this on our viewing area. You can see the cloud cover is with us. That is not going anywhere, unfortunately. If you would like some sunshine, I think it would help us out a little bit. But through about 4 or 5 o'clock or so, the clouds are with us. Scattered showers still hanging on. A lot of this coverage is going to be pretty light, like we're seeing out there right now. Sunday, though, it's going to be a lot heavier for us. That's when we could see a few storms coming through, which we will talk about here in just a second. But other than that, here's a look for us into Sunday. I want to make you aware of kind of the latest model that just came out here, and it is a higher resolution model, kind of pinpoints where we may see some stronger cells, just as opposed to the one we had earlier, which was kind of a little bit lower resolution. This specific model, so here's 8 o'clock Sunday morning, it does show actually a lot of some strong storms there, mainly focused down into South Carolina. As that gets closer, though, watch what happens. We see that kind of line, if you will, out ahead of the main batch of the weather back to the west. This right there would be indicative of a severe potential just after lunchtime, with a wind threat as our primary concern. Anytime you see Futurecast kind of advertising this almost Boeing feature like it's showing right there, that's basically the storm shooting out some winds kind of out ahead of it, and then it reaches the surface, and that's what we would be concerned about. It doesn't at this point look like a big time or really any tornado threat. It's pretty low, but if that changes, we'll let you know. Anytime there's that risk, there's still that potential, but I think overall it remains pretty low for us as far as tornadoes are concerned. Wind about 45 to 55, or I should say 35 to 45 mile per hour gusts is going to be a likelihood for us on Sunday. Level 2 out of 5 risk for us, a big level 2 risk there all the way down into South Carolina. Damaging wind gusts are possible, and also just plain old rain and storms through the majority of at least the second half of the day. We also check out our temperatures. So today we're at 46. It is going to be chilly. We head into the first day of 2025 next week on New Year's Day, a little bit cool. But in between that, we see temperatures climb back up. 68 there on Saturday, upper 60s on Sunday. It is going to be noticeably warmer compared to where we've been the past couple of days. Then we head into New Year's Eve itself, 68, 57 there on New Year's Day. And I got to say, looking here even beyond that forecast into, let's say, the middle part of January, there are some signs that we may have some more consistent cold weather kind of hanging tough across the area. Will that lead to some winter storm potential? We'll see here as we get into the next couple of weeks. That might be something to talk about in January. 68 for us tomorrow, 69 on Sunday. We head into next week there, New Year's Eve at 68. Still looking pretty good there, guys, for the holiday into next week.
Thanks, Anthony. A record-breaking stream. Next up, how many people tuned in for Netflix's Christmas Day NFL games this year? We wrap things up with a look at a few of the headlines we are following for you today. Parts of Duke University Hospital flooded this morning after a pipe burst. Look at this photo from a viewer showing the aftermath inside the emergency department there. Walk-in patients are still being treated in unaffected parts of the building, while ambulances are being diverted to other parts of the region. Other hospitals